spending hours and hours a week on learning how to write. Couldn't some of that time be spent more productively doing something else? It's like spelling. You don't need to spell any longer. These things have got spell checkers on them. It's like learning your tables. Do you really need to know up to your 15 times 15 is 225, like I had to learn at school? Things are changing. Everything is changing, and what your kids need to learn is not what I learned, and it's not what you learned at school. In the UK, Gordon Brown just announced £34 billion more for education. And that's not the budget, that's the increase this year. And that's equivalent to that, just in case you're wondering. And that's for a population of a country that has a population less than half of Bihar, about 45 million. Our government is spending vast amounts of money on education. But it's not just building schools, it's not doing that. It's targeting it. It's saying what will be important for the future. And they've come up with basically three things. The first one is creativity. The second thing is imagination. And the third thing is personality. I'll come back to personality in a minute. But they're actually saying that we need creative people. We need people who can write music, make films, television programs, rock bands. Rock bands are a big industry, okay? They're a big industry. And in these areas, we in our little island off in the North Atlantic, we can beat Indians on this one. We can beat you on this one. So what I'm putting to you today is that mustn't happen. Because the days of industry that is based on low-cost resources, low-cost salaries, it's going to disappear. Your children, if they're, say, 5 years old today, they're not going to be looking for a job for maybe another 20 years. Okay? Third culture kids have suddenly come to the fore because, do you know why? Third culture kids? There is a very, very famous third culture kid that has just hit the newspapers. His name's Barack Obama. He's a third culture kid. He has a little bit of everything. You can find websites on third culture kids now. It's a society of third culture kids in the US. Okay? Third culture kids have one very important feature about them, which Mr. Obama apparently has by the bucket load. I don't know him personally, so I can't say, but and that is their ability to negotiate is supposedly fabulous because they can see arguments from different angles. Okay? I mean, I forgot to mention, not only is this guy a black American, but he has a Muslim name. He's just about as unelectable as he could possibly be, you would have thought. But he's a guy who has a tremendous ability, apparently, to see things from different angles, and because of that, has a great negotiating ability. These are the kinds of skills which people are looking for in the future. So when we talk about personality, we're talking about a mixture of cultures. We're talking about people who can see things from different angles. Now, in order to do that, you and I, we have to let go of our original cultures a little bit. It's something you have to do. I could not have lived in India for 12 years if I hadn't let go of quite a lot of what I was brought up with. You know, we have arguments. What do you do in the bathroom? Do you wash your bottom or do you wipe it? You know, it's that fundamental. It's that fundamental. Okay? You have to let go of things in order to take other things on board. And this kind of wide third culture kid kind of thing is something that the University of Cambridge, saw it on the school board in Nadiad on the way through, back into Southeast Asia, and of course the International Baccalaureate. I have to tell you something. The CBSE is great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the CBSE and its syllabus. I'm a mathematician. I've taught 12th class maths here in India. The standard is very high. The standard is very high in science. Maybe not quite so high in English, but the standard is high. In maths, I was teaching in class 12 concepts that I didn't do till I was in my first year at university. The standard is high. But something is wrong, because the way we teach CBSE is based on mugging. Okay? It's mug, 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 mug. Okay? So, if you're visiting a school and you're looking for one for your kids, how do you actually measure quality in education? What are the questions that you need to ask the principal? A lot of schools in India have a good reputation because they've been there for 50 years or 100 years. But actually, they're broken schools. They're not good. So what are the questions that you need to ask about measuring quality? Well, the first couple of things to note is that teaching is about teaching pupils how to think. It's not about teaching them how to mug. Okay? That's a completely different concept altogether. It's about teaching pupils how to think. And good learning is pupils learning how to think. Two things happen in classrooms. Teachers teach, learners learn. That's pretty much it, actually. But teaching means teaching pupils how to think, and learning means learning how to think. Learning does not mean learning how to quote big chunks of Macbeth, or Rabindranath Tagore, or the periodic table, or great chunks of textbooks from memory. That is not about learning. Learning is about learning how to think. And when we were developing Euroschool, we came across this wonderful document, National Curriculum Framework. It's published by NSERT. It's like a 5-year financial plan. It comes out every 5 years. This one was published in 2005 and was applicable from 2006. So this is actually the Government of India's nearest thing to a policy statement on education. This is how schools are supposed to be run, according to the Government of India. Okay? And this document says some really stunning things. It says schools should reduce the burden on children. That means, in curriculum terms, that it means the size of their rucksacks too. It goes on to say, learning outside the classroom should be stressed. I was just looking in the Eurokids place around the corner at all these field trips that your kids seem to go on. That's what the Government of India says they should be doing. Getting out into the real world and seeing how things work. Visiting gas stations or factories or hospitals or police stations or whatever. So learning outside the classroom will be stressed. No stress on learning definitions. No bugging. Is what that means.